Morning to you, folks and fogies. See, I'm subtracting the good from the part of that good morning equation as my lifelong battle with sleep paralysis, and battle is very much the right term because you certainly feel like you're fighting for your life when you have it. Well, kick it back in, but here's the thing about sleep paralysis. It really is mostly a result of some sort of imbalance in your circadian rhythms or other factors such as stress, illness, whatever the case may be. But people like me with chronic insomnia, our lives are littered with those kind of compromising elements. So, I've had it my entire life. For the vast majority of the time, it's just me waking up feeling like I can't move, can't do anything. I'm kind of falling in and out of dreams. I feel like my face is stuck in the pillow or something like that. I'm sure many of you have had that experience. I'll ask many people, have you had sleep paralysis? And they'll say, no, but I've had this thing where I wake up and I feel like I can't breathe because my face is stuck in the pillow. Well, that's sort of an illusory trick of sleep paralysis because I never sleep on my stomach. I never have. I didn't like to because I thought I was waking up with my face in the pillow as a kid. But I still get that trick. And it is very realistic because of sort of the sensory input. Now, before I get into some of my more notable experiences with it, I'll get into my experience with it last night. So now this was one of the more vivid instances of sleep paralysis that I had. I had two bouts of it. The first one, I was dreaming, I doubt many of you have seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. It's a great movie, really fun to watch when you're high on hallucinogens, but it's I also think Rob Zombie kind of got most of his ideas for House of a Thousand Corpses, and if you've watched Rob Zombie's horror movies, unless you're a die-hard fan, I think you know that it gets rather repetitive, and most of it looks like kind of copy and pasted from Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. But I was dreaming I was Dennis Hopper's character, and I'd had this scene where he takes a chainsaw and he's cutting that giant piece of wood in half outside this poor old chainsaw merchant store. Great scene. Very random, and what the hell are these guys on? Who made this movie? So I was dreaming that, but then the roles kind of reversed. So instead of him trying to go take down Leatherface and his evil family, he was the serial killer, and so he's going around and he's creeping on this waitress, and looks exactly like the girl he's trying to save in the film. But then I woke up, and I was on my side, so it's kind of like this. I'm trying so hard to move, because one thing for those of you who suffer from sleep paralysis, you will know this. Do not sleep on your back. You're 60% more likely to experience it if you sleep on your back. And since I've got very bad nerve pain in one of my thighs, I can only really sleep on one side. But yeah, no, I felt like I was pretty much tied up. And the dream kind of went on without me, but I would be kind of fluctuating in and out of it into my body where I can't move, and I'm trying so hard to do the, Kill Bill, move your little toe thing, because that's really the only way I find I can get out of it. I focus on my pinkies, moving my pinkies, or moving my toe, so that way I don't completely start panicking. So I was going out of that into the dream where, I see this cowboy character being like, hey, little lady, you got any work for old, worn as a leather glove type fellow like me? And Meanwhile, it's just torturing me because I can feel that I'm still there, not being able to move. So I finally get out of that after what feels like an eternity. And here's the thing. Sleep paralysis lasts about 30 seconds to a minute, if that. And because of your distorted sense of time, it seems like an eternity most often. At least for me, it does. And so I get out of it. I'm like, oh God, okay. Oh, I'm on my back. How did I end up on my back? And we toss and turn when we sleep. It happens, but it felt like I was on my side, going like a walrus in handcuffs. So that was crappy. I really felt the whole like smothered type feeling, like some pinch my nose and hold your hand over my mouth, like someone in a movie trying to kill someone who's terminally ill and can barely fight back or whatever. I'm sure you've seen that movie done in movies, especially horror movies. And the second episode, though, was where it got a little more scary. A little more surreal, anyways, if that's not surreal enough for you. So, essentially, I was dreaming I was a soldier, because I was listening to stories, like paranormal stories from soldiers on Reddit being narrated before I went to bed. That's part of my sleep routine, is to listen to like Reddit stories that typically are fairly disturbing in content, but they're narrated by people with like the most just lush and like calming, whispery, like ASMR type voices. And so I think that's what kind of supplanted that dream. And by the way, I've only been able to start dreaming again recently because, I, for a long time, was smoking a lot of weed and taking a lot of edibles. Those edibles especially kill your dreams. Like, it's nobody's business. Like, I didn't have any for 6 months. Doesn't mean I didn't have REM sleep, just didn't remember my dreams. But yeah, so I was dreaming I was a soldier or whatever, and I was hunting down this girl who went AWOL after killing someone. And, military police, if you will. Yeah, I know you could see me as military police, I'm sure, because I'm a very intimidating guy. But I was in the dream, closing in, chasing her through the jungle, and got her cornered, and I'm about to grab her, but then she turns into this banshee-like thing and just jumps on me, just screaming, and I see her on top of me, and she's going at this point I'm awake, but I can't move, and she's going like seriously screaming and barking like a dog and acting like she's like smashing her head into me, again, this is another perceptual trick, because I was on my side, I wasn't on my back, but just like this black figure was straddling me and just like a spring going back and forth. And yeah, it's pretty scary shit. So I'm trying to like almost psychically like fight her back, like, no, get off me, you fucking bitch. But I can't move, so what am I gonna do? And I finally wake up and I was like, goddamn, 2 episodes in one night. I haven't had an episode in a very long time. But here's the thing, like I said, aggravating factors. So the night before last, I was up all goddamn night, raving away, partying, giving my nostrils a little bit of a workout. Good times. Still got my nitrous balloons, but because I'm not so used to that anymore, even though this is the second week in a row I've stayed up all night, or second weekend in a row. I slept for about 16 hours during the day, not straight, but sort of on and off. So my circadian rhythms, which are very sensitive, I have to practice sleep hygiene, stuff like that, were offset. So I experienced the sleep paralysis. And, concurrently, or sorry, consecutively is the term I'm looking for. So, not fun. It's very hard to get back to sleep when you feel like you've just been fighting for your life, because, what sleep paralysis is, for those who don't know, it's essentially, like, it can happen as you're going into sleep or as you're coming out of sleep. For me, it's typically when I'm coming out of sleep, occasionally when I'm going into it, but that's very rare. It's usually like if I'm coming down from a stimulant or something and don't have a benzo on hand, when it occurs as I'm falling asleep. But your brain, it disseminates this chemical through your body that is meant to freeze your muscles so you don't act out your dreams. I mean, there is a disorder where people, their brain essentially doesn't do that, or doesn't release an adequate amount to really neutralize you from acting out your dreams, and these people go fucking ballistic because you're moving around in your dreams, right? So it's as far as your brain is concerned, you're moving around, or your body's concerned, and your brain, I guess, but that's the only thing, is that chemical, and it's causing this paralysis, and so what happens is your mind is either, your brain, your awareness, it's either woken up early, coming out of a dream, hence why it only lasts about 30 seconds to a minute, so your body, being that we are all animals at the end of the day, a lot of people seem to forget that and have this sort of anthropocentric belief that we're not when we really are. We will go into fight or flight because that's when we're at our most vulnerable, is when we can't move and defend ourselves. And so it creates these hallucinations because your brain is essentially on fire, trying to fight this state. And the other extreme is, going into sleep, your mind's still awake when that chemical is sent through your body. Some people say that you can actually activate lucid dream states by just chilling the fuck out and going into your dreams. Now, I have had sleep paralysis probably hundreds of times, and I've tried that multiple times, but it is damn near impossible to get past the fact that you are in a great deal of fear when it happens. You are petrified, so the farthest I've ever got is I'll float down on my body into sort of a staticky area with lots of color and seems like lots of space, and could be the beginning of a lucid dream. But I never stuck around to find out, because I was like, nope, fuck this, I want to move again, like physically move. So I started fighting it again, and I don't think there's much you can do to hasten it. You just kind of have to ride it out. But that whole like I said, move your big toe trick, if anything, at the very least, it's a way of taking your mind off of the agonizing reality of your situation until the paralysis abates. Now, I've had some pretty crazy experiences with sleep paralysis over my life. I won't go into all of them. We'd be here for hours if I did that, but the most interesting one was me when I was, I want to say 15 or 16, where I lived at the time with my parents. There were lots of crows that would come and migrate to my neighborhood. I personally love crows, and I actually have an interesting story about a crow friendship that I had for a while that ended in tragedy, and maybe I'll share that next video, I don't know. But anyways, you would hear them as they're coming in, because as you probably know, crows are pretty loud. They'll hoop and holler, and they don't care who hears it. But I got used to it for the most part. So to hear them returning about 5 in the morning, but I was usually asleep. And so I woke up and I couldn't move, and I could hear the crows outside my window in the trees coming from their roost. And all of a sudden, just boom, hundreds of them fly in through my windows like something out of like a graphic novel, or this big cyclone of crows, and they're flying around my light, which, mind you, was off at the time, but because of the hallucinations sleep paralysis induces, because you're still, for one, your subconscious mind is going, so, and for two, you're getting those hypnagogic hallucinations, for three, you're in fight or flight, so that expands to these hallucinations, and it, is that fear response, and makes them take on a very threatening appearance. So I saw my light on, and there were just hundreds of crows flying around it in this big tornado, and more were just pouring through my window. And so I was like, oh fuck, I'm just a buffet to them, essentially. They can come in and just start pecking away at me. So I'm just hoping this doesn't happen, because I'm in this suggestible state, and I was regarding it as real in that state. And so then this crow, like a really mangy, deathly looking crow, lands right by my feet. And it's just kind of sitting there by my foot, and like just looking at me with these beady black eyes, and just that radiated just animosity, just a total hatred of this stilted sack of meat on the bed who couldn't move at all. And I was like, oh, this must be the ringleader. Shit. Well, if I kill the alpha, then none of the rest will come for me. Maybe they'll bow down to me, for all I know. This is your mind on sleep paralysis. So, you also have kind of these false, illusions of being able to move, or false awakenings. I've had both, and this is an example of the first of those two. And so I thought I could move my foot a little bit, so I'm like moving my foot, moving it. I'm like, get away from me. And this crow is like, I'm hitting it from what I can see, because the only part of your body that you can move are your eyelids. That's why people report such horrendous demonic shit when they have sleep paralysis or alien abduction. That's very common. I've had that experience too. So I'm kicking away at the crow. It's just solemnly looking at me. This feather snaps up like that. Like I broke its feather, and I'm like, oh fuck, now I really gotta kill it before they realize that I had injured the alpha. And so I keep kicking it. And then I get the ability to move back, and I jump up, fists in the air, ready to go. Fucking crows, let's go. Gone, all of them, like that, just instantly. But like I still felt danger. I still felt like a threat, and I could still hear the crows outside my window. Look at my window. Well, look at my light. My light's not on. Looking out my window, and it's open about maybe that much. There's no way a crow could get through that. That was one of the more interesting ones. But yeah, like I said, I have had like alien abduction ones, stuff like that. But if you are a sufferer of sleep paralysis, here's what I recommend. Do not sleep on your back. Do not sleep on your stomach. Try to have sleep hygiene, especially if you're someone who suffers from chronic insomnia, like me, because that will make you far more likely to experience it. Now, sleep paralysis is no fun for anyone. It can be downright traumatizing for some people. I've met people whose lives are basically ruined because of it. You know, they're afraid to go to sleep. And I've been there myself. I mean, typically though, the trauma for me ends about a minute after waking up and realizing, oh god damn, I'm out of it. Thank fuck for that. No, anyways, yeah, that's something I wanted to share if you want to hear. Like the alien abduction account, for example. Let me know. Anyways, synthetic, not so spiritual, and goodbye.